good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another beautiful Friday evening where we bring you the best of what jazz and soul has to offer. This is the Evening Pulse, and this is a segment, very special segment called the Jazz and Soul Sessions, where we bring you the best of what jazz has to offer, not only in South Africa or the African continent, but the entire world. We go globally when it comes to jazz. I welcome you. It is a beautiful day. We're broadcasting live from South Africa, Johannesburg, and it is exactly it is exactly 5 minutes past the top of the hour here. And my name is Shemaine Zimo again. I love you for watching. I love you for listening. We don't take it lightly that you take the time, to spend with us here in the Evening Pulse. We really do not. I mean, you could have been anywhere else and you chose to be here with us. We do not take that lightly. Jazz and soul. My favorite, really one of the genres that, very less celebrated in our country as well as, at the African continent. But I feel like things are really shaping up. Things are really, taking a turn. People are evolving, which brings us to the topic of the day. We're talking about evolving and growing. As people, we constantly evolving, as we interact with each other and as, the world changes and things, take turns to happen in our lives. We also are forced to change with those things. We are forced to, join the transition and really evolve and be better. So that's what we're talking about today. You can touch base with us on our social media networks. We are Africa USA Radio on Instagram and Facebook, as well as on Twitter. We are available. So let us know how you feel about evolving. What has happened in your life that has caused you, because sometimes life happens and you are forced, abruptly to just evolve, to change your ways and be better, really, because evolving and growth has to do with a mind change and really growing. Eventually, the point is to be better, to be at a better mind space. I'm not alone today. We have a great show, a beautiful, fun-packed show with some beautiful music. But also, we are very honored because we've got one of Atlanta's own and very prolific, very, she's just a powerhouse, and really blessed to have her tonight on the show. Her name is Laurie Williams. She hails from the USA in Atlanta, Georgia. Beautiful songstress, who's done so many things. I mean, she's an acclaimed international jazz songstress, who has worked with so many artists, the greats. One of the artists that I know you South Africans will be glad to know this, that she's worked greatly with your Jonathan Butlers, and really, who else? So many artists, so many profound and iconic artists, that Yolanda Adams, your Oleta Adams, Eric Benet, so many greats in the R&B and the jazz world. And her name is Laurie Williams. She's decided to join us today. So gracious, so humble, such a lovely, beautiful soul. We really are blessed today. She's an international songstress, and we really welcome here. We'll welcome you here to the Evening Pulse, Laurie. How are you doing, ma'am? So glad you've joined us. I have so much to say. I was so looking forward to this. I've been counting nights and things are just happening, but I'm glad we are here today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. I love you. I love your music. We will be playing your music each and every Friday. I can assure you, because your music has a certain, a distinct sound, that really the world, especially the African continent, is lacking, that they need to hear. So we will definitely be jamming to your music each and every Friday here on the Soul and Jazz Sessions. I mean, like I said, you you are an incredible jazz singer. You are seasoned. You've done so much in the in the space and the genre. And I really don't want to be speaking on your behalf. I know I've got a whole lot written, but I would love for you to actually tell the viewers and the listeners at home who Laurie Williams is. In your own words, take us through your journey, both personally and musically until today.
Alrighty. Well, I'm Laurie Williams, originally from Washington, D.C. And I grew up with parents who were immersed in the church. And so I ended up starting singing at the age of maybe 3 in the Baptist church in Washington, D.C. Went to school.
Amen.
Went to school and then went to college at Hampton University in Virginia.
Yeah.
It's a historically Black college and university. It's one of the most prolific universities that we have. And I was able to work with 2 professors in particular, Dr. Effie Gardner, and Mr. Bob Ransom, who passed recently. And they were the ones who actually immersed me in jazz, and I fell in love with it. Then I worked at their the college radio station at Hampton University, which is WHOV-FM. From there, I was able to listen to jazz pretty much every day because I was the jazz programmer and I was putting on music. So I fell in love with artists like Diane Reeves, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Nancy Wilson, and the list goes on. And of course, I was performing all the while at the university, but also at clubs that are in the local area. From graduation, I moved on and I worked at a concert promotions company in Washington, D.C. And then I ended up working at Capitol Records and it was based in Maryland. And then I moved to Japan, which was my daughter was born there. And I lived in Japan for about 5 years, performing and directing gospel choirs while I was there. Moved back to the States and continued working with gospel choirs and also teaching. And I stopped teaching in 2019 after about 26 years of teaching high school students and elementary school students about music education. And so my background is in performing arts all the way. And I have 6 CDs to my credit. I'm working on number 7. I have a single that's supposed to be released June 13th. I'm a mom above all. I have 2 amazing children. My daughter is working on her doctorate and her name is Lavahai. She's also an entertainer as well, performer in the Atlanta area. And my son is at a performing arts school. His name is Yusef Khalil. He'll be 15 in August. So I'm just grateful to be here. That's pretty much it. I have music that spans for straight ahead, contemporary, inspirational, and more. And I love just performing.
That's beautiful. I love the fact that, your foundation has to do with church. You know who God is. You have a relationship with God, which is incredible. I mean, He encourages us in the Word, which is the Bible, that we should, evolve. We should grow. We should continuously, grow and really be mindful of what is going on around us, which is what we're talking about today, amongst a lot of things. I mean, amongst getting to know you better, that's what we are talking about. It is important, for one to not be stagnant, to not be in one spot and really find yourself continuously, repeating and really, being in a circle form, to really change. And it starts with the mindset. I believe in education so much. I know that you teach music as well, as we're talking about the mindset. I want to find out, there's young people who are very talented, who can sing, can hold the notes very well. But that is not necessarily, music is not necessarily where they should be, and I know you believe in Christ. You know that we are on this earth for His divine, purpose. And really, we have to find it and really live and stick to it, right? Now, I have a voice. I can hold a note, but that's not necessarily my purpose. How do I figure that out? How did you figure out that Laurie needs to be in this particular spot at this point in time, or whenever you started?
Well, as like I mentioned before, I started as a young girl singing, and I've always loved music. I mean, I knew from an early age that this is where I wanted to be. And so Even if you're not in your field, if you believe and you trust, you're going to find yourself going back and gravitating towards that which is your passion. So music has always been my passion since an early age. Directing, writing, performing, it's all of that. So I don't know what else I would do, but it would definitely be in the field of either performing if I wasn't doing this.
Okay. But what about purpose? What about young people who find themselves, being able to sing, but not necessarily, and everything else is really not, their lives are not gravitating towards music. They have a voice though. You know what I mean? Do you see how it's conflicting? I have a voice, but then everything else is leading me up to engineering, or finance, and I end up even studying that, getting the formal education in that. But what do I do to figure out where I'm supposed to be?
Well, Charmaine, what I think is, you speak of a purpose. I believe that everything that you need is already within you. Everything. It's just a matter of tapping into what it is that you need to do. So, like I said, you'll gravitate towards that which is your passion or your purpose. You'll find that within yourself, and if you're dedicated and you stick to it. But I don't like I don't believe in forcing someone to do something that they don't want to do. So if you're a singer, and like my son is an incredible singer, but he loves to draw. So for him, I believe his purpose.
You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm saying.
His passion and his purpose go hand in hand, and he's got to develop that. It's not really, I'm just a guide. As an educator, that's all we are. We're just guides. We're not the ones that should mandate what somebody should do. So, and if they do it well, and if that's their craft and they work at it, then they'll follow in that path.
I love that. So that's getting to know who you are. So that's part of evolving. I mean, as you grow, you find who you are, who you really are. And I always say that God is the drawing board. He's the first. He's the initiate. He's actually the ruler. He knew you from when you were in your mother's womb, before you were even formed, right? So he's the drawing board. So you need to have that connection with him. That's where it starts, and then get to know who you are, and then that's where everything else stems from. So when you talk about evolving, we're also talking about things like the growing within yourself, knowing who you are, and really growing to love and appreciate who you are. Right? Would you say that who Laurie Williams right now is, was impacted, or how has your childhood impacted the woman that you've grown up to be, especially with the music that you're singing right now? Were you always a lady? Were you always all prim and proper? Because that's what jazz is all about.
Well, jazz, I don't know if jazz is all prim and proper, and I like the fact that jazz is so it could be all encompassing. You could be prim, proper, you could be raw, it has all facets of it. I think that we categorize things. I don't like to be boxed in. And I think that that's what jazz is. It's an improvisational form, an art form that is not just so. Like I could sing a song that someone else might sing, like a Sarah, and it might not sound the same as a Jasmine Horn or Diane Reeves. We all have our different ways of performing and sharing the music.
Gotcha.
So, I definitely don't think, for me, I'm going to go back to, no, I wasn't always prim and proper, and I'm still not always prim and proper. I just know how to do we know how to gravitate in those circles, and we know when to turn on and when to turn off. So I think that with jazz, I found that when I went to Hampton University, I started out singing a lot of inspirational and gospel music, and that also crosses over to the jazz idiom because of my upbringing in the DC area. But my family hails from Louisiana, which we know is where jazz was birthed. So the fact that I have
New Orleans, is that New Orleans? That's New Orleans, right?
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. I read a bit about where jazz is happening in the US. Sorry about that. You can continue. Sorry, I'm just sorting something.
But of course, Louisiana is a beautiful state, and that's where it originated, and it originated in the culture of Black people. And so I found that a lot of that love for inspiration, jazz, improvisation, all came from what I was experiencing. And life experiences are all a part of the music. So I could sing jazz, I could sing gospel, I can sing bluegrass if I need to. If I'm putting a part of who I am in it, It becomes original. It becomes of what it's an authentic representation of who I am. So my family would be, I think that's where my start came from, my love of music. And then, of course, when I went to Hampton University, that's when my love of jazz was birthed.
And would you say that it is important to get the formal education? I know you got yours. Is it important to get the formal education, or should I just run with my raw talent? I mean, I can sing. I know notes, and I mean, being in a worship team. I mean, at church, a lot of artists. I know about the US, but in South Africa, a lot of them really get the training, you know, and the sounds and the chords and the different. You know what I mean? What do you call them? Is it chords? When they say give me number 2 on the keyboard, what is it? Is it a chord?
Yeah,
it's a chord, eh?
Right.
Yeah. Right. I got it right. So all those things, the music, the technicalities behind music, they learn it at church. So I've got that covered. You know, I've got the talent, you know, to accompany it. Do I still need the formal education? Is that important?
Education is always important, but I'm going to backtrack and talk about the originators of jazz. And I don't think that our culture was such that we could have or be afforded the education that would be in a school system. I think church educates. I think family educates. I think exposure educates you. So life experiences, you know, the fact that I'm able to travel to different countries and perform, all of that helps me to be able to build on my presentation. So I take everything, the education, the life experiences, family life, all of that is encompassed in how I'm performing. So yes, education is key, but also it has to come from some talent and some rawness and some originality as well. I think that we don't want to be boxed in. That's you gotta put that to work.
Yeah, so it's a balance between the education and I mean, because you need to be soulful as well. You need to be grabbing it from somewhere, right? Because we need to connect to that authenticness that is Laurie Williams. You know, so it has to.
I would say that too, if I may, that as it relates to education, I'm always learning. I haven't arrived. So I'm still learning. Every day I'm trying to do something new, either if I'm instructing a student or if I'm learning from a YouTube video or from my peers who are extraordinary musicians, but I'm constantly learning. So once we've mastered the idea that we are never where we are supposed to be, we're always trying to aspire to something greater, then I think that helps our craft to propel to be something that's even better.
I love that. I really love that. Okay, so talking about music and getting the formal education and the experiences. I know you mentioned experiences. I mean, you've traveled also. You've had the experience of church. Would you say that's what inspires you when you write music? Because I mean, 6 albums later, you must have a template, I'm sure, you know, or maybe a way, a process. You know, others have a procedure, download procedure. So take us through a process of you actually birthing and putting down music, you know, so that, you know, we can connect to it. You know, what takes place? What happens?
I'm going to probably surprise you and let you know that I don't have a process always when it comes to writing music. I have a process when it's time to put the CD together, because there's a template for the cover, for the liner notes, for those types of things, and filling out all the codes that need to be submitted for airplay. But life experiences, I go back to that. The things that happen from one day to the next are all what goes on in the psyche and the brain for you to be able to put something pen to paper. And a lot of times it could happen at 3 o'clock in the morning, where I might have a dream and I'll wake up and I might sing something in my phone, or I might write a lyric down because I remember it and I'll go back to that life experience. So that's what happened from CD number 1. The CD was called Healing Within. And it really was not originally purposed for public consumption. It was something that I wanted to prove to myself that I could actually do it, you know. And the response from people listening to it was so great that it propelled me to get recognition on radio and to be able to perform overseas, et cetera. And then, of course, the beautiful response propelled me to do CD number 2. So I wanted to put out new material. And that's also the business side of it all. You know, you want to be able to be relevant. And I think that like right now, we're dealing with so many issues within our world that need to be voiced. And I find myself not to be an orator, but more with a songstress. I'm able to put my expressions down in song, and I can share that even more more profoundly with music and have the people listen to it that way, as opposed to standing behind a podium. Or, I find that with music, it's such a universal approach that everybody will listen to it and they gravitate to the lyrics. So that's really key.
Yeah. I love that. I want to talk about, so you don't have a template, it's experiences. It's all encompassed. I want to talk about, there is a non-profit organization that you are involved in. I think you're the founder as well. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, and it is called PMPM. Right. And that speaks of positive music, positive minds. Right. I love that. I read through that and I had just so many ideas, from just that. That's beautiful. And I wanted to actually spread this. This needs to go over music, and it needs to go, it needs to extend to so many issues, issues that even issues that have to do with gender as well as race. It's a world issue that we have issues that are similar to what you guys are going through. So extend, but that's not my question. I wanted to speak to us about the organization, the movement, the concept. What is it about? What does it aim to minister to your audience?
Okay, so Positive Music for Positive Minds was created. I created that when I was teaching in the Washington, D.C. area. It actually originally started when I was working with my students. I had a lesson plan about lyrical content. And a lot of my young people were listening to songs that I felt were not feeding their spirit. And you can't really, with church and state, you really can't speak to that. So I wanted to find out why they were listening to the songs that they were listening to. And so with this, it was an exchange that I had with my students originally to be able to talk to them about why they were so moved by certain lyrics. So we took on certain songs, and then they would rewrite the lyrics, and we would have discussions. And then I partnered with some of my friends and also with the Wolf Trap Foundation to do a performance program at my school where artists would come in and have a dialogue with students about positivity and how to improve their performances through music with a foundation of jazz, but also to reach to other genres as well. And from that, it has grown. We've done online workshops. We've done in-person workshops with students, with professionals coming in and having one-on-one interaction with them. And we're based in Smyrna, but I would love to come to South Africa and bring positive music, positive minds.
That was going to be my next question. When are you visiting Africa? You need to take your music to Africa. I think it is time. I really think it's time. Like I said earlier, before I got a bit distracted, that we have so many similar issues, gender issues. I know you guys have that police brutality issues, as well as your race issues. Those are worldly issues. That you guys need to put them somehow in song and really spread the word, because that's what you do best, right? So you need to spread, as South Africa is we are hungry for such. We need such, especially in the jazz genre. When are you visiting Africa? Please tell us soon.
Charmaine, when you call me to say, come on, and there's an event, I will be there.
Are you serious? That easy?
It's just that simple. We have to work it out, figure out a venue, a performance, a festival, and I would gladly come. I'll even work with the artists who are there, because I'm sure there are very skilled musicians who are already there. But typically when I'm traveling to Europe, they have me to travel, and then I connect with the musicians who are there. So I'm sure we could do a partnership of the same format. That would be awesome.
That'd be great. We'll make it happen. We have to make it happen. We really, really have to make it happen. So speaking of that, which international artists would you love to work with? Just put it out there.
Diane Reeves.
International artists, even if it's not in the same genre.
Oh, Diane Reeves is the person I would love to work with.
Wow. That's it.
She's.
Do we have more?
Oh, she's the top on my list. Of course, we all have bucket lists, but right now I love working with young people and
Yeah.
exploring. As I mentioned before, my daughter is a performer as well, and she's doing some great things. She goes by the name of Lavahai, Lavahhi, and you can check out her music on lavahai.me.
You will definitely, yeah.
And so, for me, I love music. So if I have the opportunity to perform and share, I don't take any of those opportunities lightly. I'm very grateful and blessed whenever I'm asked to perform and travel. So I look forward to coming to South Africa and performing.
Yeah, no, we would love to have you, definitely. So speaking of, getting involved with young people, besides teaching, besides teaching and coaching, what other roles are you, getting involved in, especially where young people are concerned? Because I mean, we need to be raising young Lauras, besides your daughter, maybe in your community. What are you involved in, or yes, what are you doing to ensure that young people, especially that would love to grow up and sing jazz, they are informed, they are well equipped, especially when it comes to the business part of music, because essentially it's a business, and there's so many things, especially when you're young. You miss a lot of important parts of music, thinking it's all about fame and money, and the glitz and remaining fabulous. Yes, that's part of it, but there's the business side. So what role are you playing in ensuring that these young ones grow up smart?
Okay, so I'm a mother, and then of course I'm an educator, and I'm a business owner. So with those three opportunities, I teach privately, and I teach also at a music school and a conservatory here in the Georgia area. So I have online students as well, and I'm always working from every day. I'm working with somebody to try to impact them in a positive way to build. And of course, being a mother first, that's your primary role. And then, of course, and then from there, I try to work on my own craft. And with lyrical content, I talk about, again, whatever I'm writing, I'm hoping will inspire other people to think positively about the world issues. And I have several songs that are out that might speak to issues, but I love partnering with people as well. So if there's anyone who would love to partner with me, I'm open and willing.
Yeah, no. We will, trust me, after this, we will be talking a lot, you and I. Women are very marginalized. You spoke of the fact that you're an entrepreneur. We're about to close, don't worry. We're about to finish. I know I ask a lot of questions, but that's part of getting to know who Laurie Williams is, right?
That's right.
Women are very marginalized, especially in the business world. You're an entrepreneur. The music is a business eventually. It boils down to it being a business. What do you think, as we are evolving, as the world is really getting smarter and really thinking, broadly, what do you think we should be doing as women that we're not doing, or our mothers or our grandmothers were not doing, to ensure that, our spot matters, that we are involved, and our word is heard in the boardroom and elsewhere, but mainly in the boardroom?
I don't have the answers to everything, but I would say that I love when women come together and support each other. I think that that's really important. So I think that dialogue is really key when we're talking to each other, sharing ideas and being inspirations to each other. I think that that's really important as well. So, but I don't have the answers to it all. I like our communication like this. This is a start. The fact that I'm having this interview with you. You're in South Africa. I'm here in Atlanta. So, we can transcend so many different layers of what's happening. And I think also for women, we need to be looked at as strong, powerful forces within the business as well. So I'm very grateful, because the people who I work with trust me, and they trust my leadership and my guidance, because typically I'm the one that's the band leader. And as band leader, I try to make sure that I'm fair, I'm equitable, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy. And of course, I study my craft. So if they see that, and the first person that people would probably see when they enter the world would be that woman, that mother, that female entry. So that's, as that maternal figure, I'm hoping that I can bring a little bit of big sister, mother, auntie, friend to the business world so that people can be able to see what we're doing and we can collaborate together.
I love that. And none of the fights and none of the battles with the male genre. Oh, the male species.
And
none of that. So
none within women as well. We need to all be one and come together and work as a team. So that's really important from male to female and female to male. We need to just come together and trust that we have something to offer that would be inspirational, positive, uplifting, so that people can understand. And music is the key that brings us all together.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's beautiful, that we need to come together. So Laurie said it, guys, we need to come together. Unity it will not eradicate a lot of issues, but it will take us a step further, just one step further, which is what we need. We need each other. We really need each other. We have become, I love the fact that we have become a global village. We are so close, but yet so far apart. It's insane. I love what technology has done. We are able to talk about issues and they really put plans in action, because we really have similar issues, similar struggles as well, that we are facing. As we close, Laurie, I want you to encourage young people. I'm very passionate about young people because they're the future. They are supposed to be the salt of the world. And, with what is going on in the world, they're a bit distorted. They are demotivated. I don't know about the US, but in South Africa, so many people with the COVID-19 that we've experienced in the past 2 years. Well, we're still experiencing it, but it's not as vile. A lot of people have lost their jobs, they've lost their family members. People are so demotivated. People are so misplaced. They are so distracted. You find people, who are really, really hard workers, people who had plans, who have gone to these interviews, next thing there's just regret letter after regret letter. Companies are closing down. It's just, and it's a world issue. Economically we are ruined. And we're really, really fighting to really get back to that. I want you to really encourage somebody at home. I know you said you don't have all the answers, but we would love to hear what's in your heart when it comes to that.
Well, the pandemic didn't take God by surprise. I know that we were not prepared for what the outcome of it was. However, with the pandemic, look, we're talking right now in this fashion because we all had to gravitate towards online communication. So there's some positives that came out of a horrible, horrific tragedy, world issue. But we're able to build from it, and so we're still building. I'm still growing. I'm still evolving. I'm still learning. And I would empower other people to do the same and be mindful of, I always say words are powerful, speak wisely. We have to be mindful of the things we say and how we say them and always to try to uplift other people, to encourage. If somebody doesn't understand the technology, then try to teach it to them so that we can be able to come together again.
Yeah, unity, positivity. Let us all love each other and be one. We can really, really make the world a better place. We're just uniting and working together. I love that. Laurie Williams, thank you so much. You are so insightful. You are so talented. You are world class. And I can't wait to see you in South Africa. I really cannot wait. And I will be on it from tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, we cannot wait. I know you said originally you come from I think you said Cameroon.
Yes, my ancestry. Absolutely.
That's where your roots are. Okay, so it's South Africa, then all the way to Cameroon we go, and other African countries. That's what we need to do. We are speaking it. It's gonna happen. Remember, you said words they have power. So we're speaking it to the universe, and we claim it. It will happen, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bless you and bless you.
Bless you too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank